Welcome to De Porcelaine Fles, internationally known as Royal Delft. Today, you're visiting the home of a tradition that stretches back hundreds of years. The beautiful earthenware that bears our name is crafted using methods that have been handed down from one generation to the next. We hope that during your time with us, you'll discover more about our history, our place in Dutch heritage, and the handmade process that makes Royal Delft unique. The history of Royal Delft is tightly bound to the history of the Netherlands itself. The 17th century saw Holland reaching out to the world. In 1602, the Dutch East India Company, or VOC, was granted a monopoly by the Netherlands Parliament, giving it sole control of the valuable trade routes to Asia. The VOC sailed to the Orient in search of spices, pepper, nutmeg and cinnamon. But in China, they discovered much more. A new luxury: Ming porcelain. Soon, factories all over the Netherlands were inspired by this new treasure, including over 30 factories here in Delft, where in 1653, De Porcelaine Fles was established, creating its own version of Delft blue. Although no longer at the original site, our factory is the only one remaining in the city of Delft. Ownership has changed hands many times over the years, but the reason for its success today can be traced back to one man, Joost Toft. Purchasing the factory in 1876, Toft re-energized the business. He led the development of a better quality clay, meaning a more reliable product, reintroduced the art of painting by hand, and added his monogram to each piece, which remains on our work to this day. Of course, much has changed since the days of Toft. But one thing he would still recognize is our process. Each piece is created individually, but whether it's a plate, cup, or a vase, they all start their journey in the same way. A magical mix of raw materials, including kaolin, chalk, feldspar, and quartz, is added to water, forming a liquid clay. Some of this is then passed through a filter press, where most of the water is extracted. This creates a pliable material which can be used to make objects that will be round in shape, such as plates and saucers. But most of the original liquid clay will be used for objects that require casting. The liquid is poured into a plaster mold. The porous plaster absorbs most of the water, leaving behind a layer of dry clay on the inside of the mold. When the layer is thick enough, any surplus liquid is poured off and the mold is opened. Seams or irregularities are removed using a knife and sponge. The object is fired in the kiln for the first time at a temperature of 1160 degrees centigrade. After 24 hours, including cooling, the biscuit, as it's now called, is taken out and transferred to the biscuit store, where it's checked for imperfections. From clay to kiln, the process creates a new blank canvas for the artists of Royal Delft. It takes 7 years to become a master painter. Even for the most experienced, it's painstaking work. The biscuit absorbs the paint immediately. There's no time to correct mistakes. Using brushes made of marten and squirrel hair, the painters delicately bring our earthenware to life, creating individual works of art. Today, there are 4 main techniques that our artists recreate, all of which can be seen in our showroom. The famous blue-white, polychrome inspired by South European maiolica, red-blue-gold, which mimics Japanese Imari porcelain, and Delft black, influenced by Chinese lacquerware. But as well as our popular vases and plates, Royal Delft is also known for our beautiful tile paintings, the most famous of which is the Delft Blue Night Watch, a reproduction of Rembrandt's masterpiece. Guided by an initial sketch, the master painter begins carefully with the thin outer lines. Using another brush, he then tints the figures with our secret blend of black paint containing cobalt oxide. Depending on how much water is used, the artist can create thousands of shades and hues. But this painting's final transformation, just like any of our earthenware, will take place later. Next, our decorated piece is glazed, covering it in a dull, non-transparent layer. The glaze protects the piece, but it also does something more interesting. During the second firing process, at a temperature of 1200 degrees centigrade, the glaze melts, creating a glossy, translucent layer of glass, and, more importantly, turns black into blue. Over 350 years since the Porcelainer Fles created its first earthenware, Royal Delft continues to celebrate the best in Dutch art and design. From Delft's favourite son Vermeer to Dick Brunner, the creator of the globally popular character Miffy. And of course, we're always on the lookout for new artists. As part of the Delft Blue experience, visitors can take part in our extensive workshop programme, where, under the guidance of professionals, you can try your hand at creating your very own masterpiece. Booked in advance, these popular activities are perfect for groups and individuals. But if you'd prefer to leave the art to the artists, why not ask one of our team about our tailor-made products? Whether to celebrate a wedding, or the birth of a new arrival, or even to see your company's logo in Delft Blue, we can create a unique gift with a personal touch. And of course, no visit to the Porcelainer Fles would be complete without experiencing our showroom, which hosts the most extensive range of our work anywhere in the world. With so much to see and do, you may wish to avail of our brasserie, enjoying a bite to eat while you ponder the purchase of your very own piece of Dutch history. But whether there, in our showroom, museum or factory, we hope that you enjoy your time with us today and that you visit us again soon, here at Royal Delft.